Governments around the world are on high alert after hackers targeted a popular software that is used by remote workers. Canada's Cyberagency called the threat serious and urgent. It's told organizations to take immediate action after the widespread attack on technology company Cisco. In its own statement, Cisco said that hackers might be able to scrape user data from compromised devices. So to get more analysis on this, we are joined by Daniel Tobok. He is a cybersecurity expert and chief executive officer of Cypher. Thank you, Daniel, for your time.
Hi, Sarah. Thanks for having me on.
So this is something that I think a lot of people are talking about right now, particularly, obviously, if they are working from home. A number of cyber agencies are warning that these hackers might be able to get data from security softwares that are used by people who work from home, remote workers. What do you make of the warnings?
Yeah, no, I think the warnings are very warranted. I do have to say that this particular investigation is actually conducted by global forces, and Canada has played quite a major role in uncovering this particular vulnerability. This vulnerability is fairly important because it really touches any type of remote workers or out of the office connection into the network.
So we often, I think of these systems as being pretty secure and protected, and that is why remote work has become, as popular and extended even beyond the pandemic when it kind of really started in earnest. How are the hackers able to access these systems?
Yeah, they basically were able to create a zero day, which is really a custom-made vulnerability to access. And this particular vulnerability attacked the VPN web servers at Cisco. And when you think about it, a lot of the remote users today, especially post-pandemic, with the availability of doing work remotely, are using various technologies to protect themselves and keep themselves secure as they're connecting to the network. Unfortunately, the threat actors in this particular situation were able to find a vulnerability and create access into that particular server with an attempt, not always successful, but with an attempt to actually scrape data and interfere, basically penetrate the connection.
So if someone's not a remote worker, they might not realize, but Cisco is something that is used by a lot of companies in Canada, including CBC. What's your advice? What should we be doing?
So we'll just say this. The good thing is there's been a lot of information around this right now, and actually Cisco, kudos to them, have come up with a way to patch this. One of the best things that I can recommend is spreading the word. And if you are an affected user, you do have this technology, you have to patch this vulnerability as soon as possible, right? It's really interesting that a lot of these things actually hit usually on a Friday when everybody are going away for the weekend, right? There's different shift changes. So it's very important to be on top of this because that's how the threat actors are actually going to be able to monetize their activity.
I don't have actual numbers here, but I know it's a large number of people in Canada who actually do work from home, at least part of the time. When you see threats like this, what do you think obviously people need to take it seriously, which is what you were saying, but how does that affect the future of work from home?
It affects, we have to understand that the threat actors are consistently trying to find way to attack and have success in their operation. I would say pre-COVID, there was a lot of remote users. Some of the facts out there is that we have a 1,600% increase in remote users since the pandemic. It just become a new way of doing business. And the threat actors fully understand that. So they're going after the family jewels in various capacities. This is a perfect example of what the threat actors are trying to do. They're consistently trying to find vulnerabilities or create zero-day exploits to get into technologies that we use as society to do our work. This is a classic example. It's definitely something that's going to be in case study for many years to come. But we just have to be careful. We have to keep patching. We have to enable multi-factor authentications. We have to be aware. And it's unfortunately a cat and mouse game, right? We have to be really aware of what's happening out there.
Is there a better way to protect the family jewels, as you put it? Is there something more that could be done here?
Yeah, I always recommend, for somebody who's working remotely, always make sure that your router and a firewall, let's say at home, is up to date, right? Because when we're in the corporate environment, we rely on IT and security to make sure everything is up to date. One of some of the biggest problems we've been having since COVID is the amount of remote users that don't have the actual security at their residence or wherever they're working. So that's very important. 68% still have their default passwords on their routers at home, right? That's a scary thought. Another thing is if you're working on a coffee shop or any other public place that has public Wi-Fi, is just be aware that that Wi-Fi is potentially what we call in the industry a dirty Wi-Fi. Do enable multi-factor, do use various VPNs, and just make sure that you're not dealing with too much confidential information because you don't know who has access to it.
Some really important answers to a lot of questions that I know are being asked today. So Daniel Tobok, thank you so much. Daniel Tobok is a cybersecurity expert and Chief Executive Officer of Cypher.